Hey, happy Thursday. Thanks for joining us on our Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter live today. I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox here with Hail Trace, and here are your weather headlines today. The hail risk returns today, so that goes through Iowa, Missouri, and even parts of Kansas. Okay, that's the biggest headline that we have. However, a cold front is dropping to the south, and that's going to bring showers for some and even a brief cool down for others, okay? And I say cool down, it's really not a cold front, it's like a cool front because these temperatures are still staying above average for a good portion of the U.S. And we are still seasonably warm, as I mentioned, we are still above average for a good portion of the U.S. We're shattering records anywhere from the desert to Oklahoma City to our New England states. So we'll talk about that in just a minute, but I do want to get to RoofCon. Okay, RoofCon is going on as we speak. 8 o'clock today to 5 o'clock this evening. That continues through tomorrow as well. Hail Trace does have a booth, and here is a picture of our booth right there. Rachel is representing Hail Trace. We appreciate her being out there, and we even have a Premier Claims as well representative in this picture. So we love to see all of our sponsors out at RoofCon today. Now this continues through tomorrow, as I mentioned, so if you're out there, if you know anyone who is out at RoofCon, head over to booth 1116. That is the Hail Trace booth, and you can get registered for a raffle for a $100 Dick's Sporting Goods giveaway. Okay, we will announce the winner for that raffle here on social media, so make sure that you give us a follow as well. Yesterday was pretty quiet across the U.S. We had a few showers and storms out there, even some snow in the upper elevations. However, the severe risk here was very low. We didn't get any severe reports across the U.S. yesterday. However, today that is all going to change. We do have a risk for hail in the forecast today. It's seasonably warm. We've talked about this. Drink tons of water. If you're out there on roofs today, you're definitely sweating. Temperatures are in the 80s and 90s this afternoon across a good portion of the plains. Even up to the north, we have the 60s and the 70s starting to mix in there. A little bit more of a fall-like weather as you head up to our New England states, and then definitely cooler out to the north and west where, as I mentioned, they got snow yesterday. We have a cold front trying to push through the U.S., stirring up some storms. Up in the northern plains, we've got a little bit of a warm front going on as well. Now, we are going to see better chances for storms later on this evening, and we'll talk about that just a few minutes here. But we've got dry weather across our New England states. We've got dry weather across the southeast as well, and dry out to the northwest. There's your showers and storms across the northern plains right now. Now, temperatures, as I mentioned, they're warming up to the 90s today, and we've already got a kickstart. We're in the mid-80s already here in Oklahoma City. I walked out this morning, didn't even need a jacket, which is very funny compared to 4 years ago whenever we were getting an ice storm this time of year here in Oklahoma and Texas. And now we're in the 80s. That's the plains weather for you. You never know what you're going to get in October. There you go, 84 today, 80 down in Dallas, 67 up in Kansas City, and we've even got the 60s in Denver. It's a nice day to sit on the patio, but as I mentioned, drink your water, bring your sunglasses. All right, what about the storms today? Okay, let's talk about the unstable air. That's what's going to fuel those storms as we head into the afternoon and evening hours. Okay, we've got some unstable air here in Kansas, Missouri, even going up towards Iowa. That is the place that you want to keep your eye on. Okay, let's move forward here. Let's go to our hail forecast. Okay, so this is our significant hail model. And you can see that exact area that we're focusing in on has a pretty good chance for some larger hail. We're getting to those yellow colors, which always it makes me pay attention. Those yellow colors, I definitely pay attention to this area whenever we start to see that pop up on the map. Okay, this has shifted a little bit to the west since last time you saw our forecast. So we're now including portions of Kansas, even portions of southern Nebraska, a good portion of Iowa, and a good portion of Missouri as well in that hail chance for today. And if you saw it earlier as I was skipping through my graphics, you can see it again. Here is today's hail forecast. So Des Moines These storms are going to fire right in this area. I put Des Moines in that low chance for hail. However, I put Kansas City and Hannibal in the medium, the moderate risk for larger hailstones. I think the largest hailstones are going to be on the very beginning of this storm system in the evening and late night hours as this continues to track to the east. I think the hailstones are going to start to get a little bit smaller. Okay, so we've got 1 inch to 1.25 inches highlighted here in yellow, and then highlighted here in orange, we could get up to a golf ball, ping pong ball sized hail here, okay? So that is highlighted in orange for Des Moines and Kansas City. What is your largest hail size? As I mentioned, I think golf ball, ping pong ball sized hail are going to be definitely possible today. I think that's going to be something that we talk about tomorrow in this forecast. Could we get up to 2-inch size hailstones? I think that's possible. I think that's the max we're going to go. Okay, so we're going to see 2-inch and smaller today, but hey, 2-inch size hailstones, that is pretty impressive. So we'll see if we can get that out of these storms. What's the timeline for this? Well, right now we've got one little isolated shower just to the north of Kansas City, kind of sitting in between Kansas City and the Missouri and Iowa state line right now. Not severe. What we're watching for is severe storms later on today. So that will fire up right around dinner time. So we're talking 5, 6 o'clock, you're already home from work, you're getting ready, you're looking forward to dinner here, storms start to fire. 5 to 6 o'clock here. Then that will kind of congeal into a line that goes from Kansas City all the way up through the central portion of Iowa and then continue to track to the east. This is the time that I think that we're going to get some of the biggest hailstones between about 6 and 10 o'clock tonight. So it's the late night hours. The sun has already set. It sets so much earlier now. And that's whenever we're going to get some of the biggest hailstones. As this continues to progress to the east, it starts to weaken and it starts to break apart as well. I'll show you another model here. So that was our NAM model. This is our HRR model here, HRRR for some of you. Very, very similar, okay? These models are in agreement here where storms start to fire right around 5 to 6 o'clock tonight and then continue to congeal into a line and progress to the east as we head into the late night hours. Even the overnight hours, if you're in places like St. Louis, you could hear some thunder and see some lightning out there, but for the most part, I'm not too worried about the severe risk in St. Louis. I think that severe risk will be a little bit farther to the west here in places like Kansas City, Omaha. You're right on the line. I think that you're severe clear. I think we're going to see that right through central Iowa, down through central Missouri into Kansas City and just skimming portions of western Kansas. Okay, other than that, other than those storms right through the heart of Missouri and into Iowa, what are we talking about for rain today? Not a lot going on across the U.S. today. Florida, mostly dry. Other than that, you know, we've got dry in New England, dry out to the west as well. This is what we're focusing on today. These showers and storms, they even extend up to the Midwest. Okay, so if you're in places like Wisconsin, you're probably going to get some rain, but I'm not worried about the severe risk up here. That severe risk is going to be farther down to the south in places like Iowa and Missouri, as we just mentioned. Alrighty, moving on here. Oh, Chicago, you're going to wake up to some showers and storms in the morning. That may impact your morning commute, especially if you're an early riser. All right, let's talk about temperatures. We talked about that hail risk. You're going to get some wind with that as well. The tornado risk extremely low today. We are staying above average as we head into the rest of the work week. We've got the 80s, upper 80s, some 90s today. Oklahoma City broke a record yesterday by hitting 91 yesterday afternoon. So let's see if we can get to the 90s once again today. It's going to be a warm afternoon for us. Temperatures tomorrow morning, staying warm, but do you see this cold air, cool air, we'll call it cool air, trying to push in here into places like Kansas, Oklahoma, even portions of northern Texas. It's trying to push in. It's going to drop our temperatures a bit, about 10 degrees, from the upper 80s today to the upper 70s to the mid to upper 70s tomorrow. So we're back into the mid 70s tomorrow afternoon. We've got some 60s up in Kansas City. That's enough for a light jacket. 60s in Denver as well. And then we've got the 50s and 60s mixing in to the north. What about our southern states here down in the southeast? The 80s remain. It's going to be a warm day still tomorrow down in the southeast. Maybe not breaking any records up down there, but I do think that we're breaking records in Philadelphia as we head into the rest of the weekend. Temperatures are supposed to be really impressive in this area. I think this model is underdoing it up to the northeast. I think we're going to be a bit warmer than the 60s. But hey, we hold on to this cooler weather as we head into Saturday and Sunday, and then we slowly start to work our way back up into the 80s as we head into next week. So if you're looking for a time to wear those fall clothes, those flannels, and maybe even a light jacket, this weekend is the time to do it, because as we head into next week, this cool down is not going to last long. I think we're going to warm back up. So what are our chances for warming back up as we head into early November? Yes, this warm up, this warmer than average weather, seasonably warm, lasts not only through October, but through a good portion of November as well. This only shows until November 1st, but I've looked at models that are a bit farther out than this, and it does look like we're going to be above average for a good portion of the U.S. for a good portion of November. But we'll talk about the next week. We'll talk about October 28th through November 1st. It looks like we have a high chance for being above average in portions of the central and eastern portion of the U.S. Okay, that includes Chicago, St. Louis, Atlanta, all the way up through our New England states, and then even as far west as our plains. However, if you go a little bit farther to the west, there is your fall right there. We were just talking about snow in the northwestern portion of the U.S. There's your fall weather. Here, how do you read this map? You probably see this all over social media, right? Well, what this tells you is the likelihood to be above average. So I put the averages on the screen here. 71 is the average high for Oklahoma City, 63 in Denver, and 60 degrees in Chicago. So what you can take away from this map is we have an above average chance. We have a really good chance for temperatures to be warmer than 60 degrees as we head into October 28th through November 1st. So do you need a jacket for Halloween? Do those kiddos need to bring their jacket out? You may not need the jacket because we're going to stay above average for this time of the year as we head into the end of October. What about the rain chances? Well, we're getting some more moisture starting to mix in here. We're getting some more moisture. We're going to see above average rainfall totals for a good portion of the northern side of the U.S. As you head farther out to the east, you may see below average rainfall totals. And we don't have any tropics to talk about today. It's very quiet across the tropics. Oscar is now a low pressure system, just a cluster of storms that are moving up to the north. So we don't have any tropics to talk about today. However, we're going to keep an eye on it for you. That doesn't mean that we won't see any tropic activity over the next week or two. Okay, we're going to keep an eye on that for you. But other than that, hail risk today, and then temperatures above average as we head into the rest of this work week and next week as well. So drink lots of water. Don't forget that sunscreen and those sunglasses. Hey, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. We just posted a TikTok recapping our storm chasing in Milton for the landfall of Milton. And it's just crazy video that we got out there. Derek Klein was out there, our CEO, and he had great video from that storm. So head over to TikTok and give us a follow. Also, give us a call at 855-334-4245 if you're interested in a wind, hail, or tornado map. We are also reachable by email, info@hailtrace.com, or head over to our website for more information on those maps. Thanks for joining us on this Thursday afternoon. Of course, we'll be back here, same time, same place tomorrow.